Pleasure to introduce Will Sanderson this morning. Great to have him here. Kind of a surprise. He'll explain some of that. One of the great privileges over the course of time that I've served here at Chipping Campden is to see God raising up young people who've given them a heart to serve, to step out in faith, and to go over all the world and indeed places in this country, to learn what it means to be a disciple, to use their gifts and step out in faith. Will is one of those young people, and it's great to hear from him today.
So the reason I'm here at the moment, come back from Jordan, is because, well, I broke my wrist playing basketball. I assumed it was sprained at first, but it was still there 3 months later. So I got an X-ray in Jordan, and they said, no, this is very much broken, and we think you should have surgery. And yeah, the idea of surgery in Jordan didn't appeal to me too much. Wasn't quite sure the standards of the healthcare in Jordan. So yeah, I've come back to the UK for the next month or so to get some surgery on my wrist. So very different to what I expected from February. Everything was planned out in the first month or so that we would spend 3 or 4 months learning Arabic, and then after that we would be going to various different Middle Eastern countries, starting with Israel, Palestine, and then moving on to Lebanon, places, possibility of Saudi Arabia, even possibly Iraq, and possibly Egypt as well. However, coronavirus hit, and yeah, all of those plans had to go out the window essentially. We were planning on going on a hike, and then like the next week or so it was cancelled. So the way that it's looked has been more focusing on the locals in Jordan over the last few months. It's really been investing in them and their lives. So we have numerous friends in Amman, the capital of Jordan, in the city, who we've really seen grow during this time. A couple of them have actually given their lives to the Lord since we've known them. But yeah, we've really seen God work in their lives. And really blessed us with providing people for us to walk with and disciple. Also been doing some work out in the country outside of the city, especially in the last few months. Been more focused on reaching the people in the countryside who live very different lives to those in the city. It's much more traditional, much more rigid culture. I personally really enjoy it, and have really enjoyed it these last few months. So yeah, we've been reaching out to the locals, but more from the countryside. We're hoping to actually start an English centre, or help start an English centre in the village that we were living in. However, as the second wave of COVID hit and everything had to get shut down again. So yeah, unfortunately we didn't get a chance to open that while I was there. But hopefully in January that'll be reopening again. I've been spending some time with 2 local guys, especially one of which is from the countryside, one of whom was from the countryside but now lives in the city. Both of them are my language partners. I've just been speaking a mixture of Arabic and English with them, and trying to really invest in their culture and their lives.
And can you tell us something that you've learned about God and about yourself over the period you've been away?
Yeah, I think just trusting in his provision, I think, has been something that he's really taught me over the last few months, especially with everything getting cancelled due to Corona. It was really intimidating at first when we had to step out of this program that we were supposed to be doing, and actually just say, Lord, you build whatever you want to build, kind of thing. And out of that, he's really provided people for us to walk with and disciple. So yeah, just trusting in his provision, I think, is the main thing that I learned about God. And learn about myself. I think one of the main things actually is that I'm really not a city boy. Learned that fairly quickly in the first month or so, to be honest with you. It's all right for a few days, the city, but after that I was just craving being outside where there's not horns going off like night and day. Things to pray for me, I think just speedy recovery and smooth surgery on my wrist. Also that I would still be able to keep in contact with the guys, some of the friends in Jordan, and keep some relationships up with them. And that while the guys are still out there without me, that they would be able to invest in them as well, I think. Just for growth really in this community that's God's been building while we've been there, for that to continue to grow and flourish in my absence and in some of the guys' absence in the future, I think. And plans to go back. Yep, I plan to visit them again in January, hopefully after my operation and all the complications that come after that. Hopefully going to visit them again in January, spend some time, I don't know what that looks like yet, but spend some time with them, staying with a family that we lived with for a few months. Through possibly until April or something like that, but I'm not quite sure yet.